What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video on the channel. Today, I want to walk you through a trade that I was stopped out of, faked out of, maybe had too tight of risk tolerance on. However you want to say it, I took a loss on this position, and the setup that I was looking for worked out beautifully. Of course, without me, after I went ahead and got stopped out of it. Now, with the strategy that I use, which is the break and retest, I look for pullbacks to key levels, and I look for entries off those key levels. And this happened beautifully on Tesla today, on both Tesla as well as on the NASDAQ, and this is why I was interested in this position. Now, I got faked out of this position because when I use that break and retest, I really do not give it much room to the downside or whichever direction I do not want it to go. I do not give it much room before I stop out of the position. In some people's opinion, having that tight stop is good. It means you'll never go ahead and take a large loss. But on the flip side, you're going to probably get stopped out of a lot of positions. And today was a great example of that. We'll talk through the pros and cons, the trade-offs of having these tight stops, having the strategy that I use. So let's go ahead and jump into that today. We're going to review the Tesla trade that I got stopped out of, how it was working with the NASDAQ, and just sort of talk about some of the pros and cons of the strategy that I use. I think this is an interesting video. It might be a little bit shorter than normal, but I hope you guys do enjoy it. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and jump into it. All right, guys, so on your screen, we are looking at two different charts. On the left side, we are looking at Tesla, and on the right side, we are looking at the NASDAQ. Now, as you guys may or may not know, if you watch me on this channel, I use the NASDAQ for almost every single trade entry I take, whether it's the NASDAQ, whether it's the S&P 500. I watch the futures contracts religiously, and I almost take positions based off the NASDAQ rather than taking it off of what the actual chart on the stock I'm trading. In this case, I took a Tesla position mainly because of a break and retest of the NASDAQ at 11,950. Now, the 11,950 level was the level that I was looking for pre-market, the level that I was focusing on intraday for a break and retest for some type of reaction. And what we'll talk about in today's video is because my level was slightly off today, which I will review here in today's video, my level was slightly off. It was more of around 11,945, 11,944. If I had the correct level here, I think I would have stayed in this Tesla position. And because of my incorrect level here on the NASDAQ, I think was the main reason why I got faked out of this. But let's go ahead and talk about this position. So on your left side, you were looking at Tesla. I was watching around this 309.50, 310 level. We got the big push above it. I didn't catch this move. There was no break and retest. It was basically just a straight up green candle and continuation. If you guys know me, I do not trade these breakouts. If Tesla would have broken here, pulled back to this previous high and held this area and then pushed higher, I would have been all over this trade. However, we did not get that. We just broke and continued over that key level, so I did not catch that original push. Now, around this same time that Tesla was pushing through this key level, this was around 1045. If we look on the right side here on NASDAQ, that is right around here, and you can see that NASDAQ started to break above my 11,950 level, which is around 1052. Now, as we started to push above my key level around 11,950, what I was talking to in the chat with the group was, let's look for a retest of this 950 level. Let's look to see if this previous rejection point turns into a support, and if it does, I like almost anything to the upside. Any kind of tech stock should react off a break and retest of 950, and this is the main reason why I was looking for Tesla to the upside. So we started to see this retest right around this 1057, 1056, and that is when I got into my Tesla position. So if we go ahead and zoom in, I'll go ahead and put my entry up on the screen. 1056, 1057 was right around here. 1056, 1057. This is where I went ahead and entered my Tesla position. Now, I was looking for a hold of around this 311 level, and I was looking for the little flag to break out. That was my original plan here on Tesla. Get in on the 950 retest on NASDAQ. Look to see if that retest can start to push back to the upside. Have that previous rejection turn into support. Get into Tesla looking for that flag breakout. This is where that flag eventually broke out. I was not a part of it, of course, but I got stopped out of this position. Now, I want to show you where this went wrong for me. So I got in this around 1056, 1057. I did withstand some of this downside, some of this drawdown on this position. Where I got out was when I saw the NASDAQ slice down under 950 on this candle right here. So if we zoom in and we look at the NASDAQ here, we can see that I was looking at the 950 level. We did hold it here around 1056, 1057. This is where I got in, looking for that retest and that continuation to the upside. However, we did get a little bit of it. Tesla started to work in my favor right here. This was starting to look very good for me on the bull flag breakout and the NASDAQ retest. This candle, which is a little bit of a fake out candle, which we do see a lot on the futures, it got me pretty good. So we pulled back very aggressively under the 950 level. At this time, I didn't know whether this was going to continue, right? So if we zoom into the NASDAQ here, guys, we don't know whether this is going to continue at the time. So I saw this. This is what I was looking at as we were starting to trade. This was the 1102 candle, and you can see, you could probably understand why I was getting out of this position, because at 1102 this is what Tesla looked like and this is what the NASDAQ looked like, right? So in this situation, I see my retest level break. I say, okay, I got to have a tight stop here. If the NASDAQ does not hold this 950, Tesla could easily drop, say, a point and a half very quickly. NASDAQ could quickly reject here under this 11,950, and I have to stop out of this position. I got into the trade with the plan of a 950 retest, 11,950 retest on the NASDAQ. That was my original plan. This is my break and retest strategy. And if it doesn't stay true, I have to get stopped out. I can't hope and pray, especially not in this market right now where we sort of trade sideways, where we're very choppy. So I am happy that I did stick to my plan here. If I see us under 11,950, stop out of the position, take your loss on Tesla. Now, of course, when we look back at this position, we zoom back out, we look at what ended up happening. We can see that 11,950 break right here was a fake out candle. We can see that Tesla under 311 was a little bit of a fake out candle. And we can see that it did consolidate a little bit more, eventually breaking back to the upside. Tesla breaking that bull flag. I wasn't a part of it. It's what you have to live with. That is just sort of part of my strategy. So quickly, I want to show you where my level was actually incorrect here on the NASDAQ. And if it was correct, I think I would have stayed in this position. So on the right side, we're looking at the NASDAQ, and we're looking at it from today. This is today's price action. Now, I had 11,950. I like to put levels around psychological numbers because the market does tend to hold those psych levels. So that's why I had 11,950. But if I zoom in here, guys, and we look at where the actual level should have been, I think that the level should have been here around these pre-market lows, which is right here. You guys can see this little pre-market low, and you can see these levels be respected here early morning today. So if I go ahead and pull this back up, you guys can see that if I zoom in at this 11,943, now you can see I would not have gotten stopped out of this position if I had the correct level here. You can see very clearly that we had a rejection right here. We had a rejection right here. We had a rejection right here. And then when we did the break, we had the retest. We had the retest, and we never broke that 11,943 level. I unfortunately had my level at 11,950. And at the heat of the moment, guys, when you're trading and you're using levels, you put some trust in them, right? I'm looking at 950, 11,950. If that breaks, I'm out. There's no time to sort of decide whether you're going to sort of break your strategy or not. At the time, 11,950 was my level. And in this case, it seems as though that level was incorrect. I should have been using 11,943, which is where this pre-market was supported right here. You guys can see 11,943 here. And if we sort of move over, rejection here, rejection here, rejection, rejection, rejection. And if we look at this retest, this is where the retest level was. You can see right here, we held it beautifully. And if I was watching Tesla at this time and the NASDAQ was still holding that 943 level, 11,943, I think, knowing my trading, I would have stayed in this position and I would have had a very nice win. We can talk a little bit about the pros and cons of having those tight stops, right? You either have your tight stop and you're probably going to get stopped out a lot more than someone else may if they have a large stop. But what I can guarantee myself is that I will never take a very large loss. It's all going to come down to position sizing in this scenario. I'm not going to let the stock move against me a whole lot. Where the losses get bigger is if I take a very large position size, then that move on Tesla would still be a pretty decent loss. Now, in this position, I took 5 contracts. I got out with about a 25-cent loss, so about a $100 loss or $125 loss on this little scalp here on Tesla. I'm not letting the stock move very large against me. That is just part of the strategy. I get in off a retest level. It has to hold. If it doesn't, I'm out. So the pro of this strategy, getting in on these retest levels and really sticking to them, not giving it much room for wiggle room, is that you're not going to take large losses. But the con is that you're probably going to get stopped out more than someone else would if they give the stocks a little bit more room. Now, in my opinion, I would rather be stopped out more often. I would rather watch my setups work out without me than hope and pray and give a stock more room than I really should and take a very large loss. So for me, the trade-off's okay. I make this video because, of course, I'm a little frustrated that the setup was beautiful, that I took the position and didn't really hold for it to work out. But I'm not that upset because I am sticking to my strategy. I'm taking small losses if it happens. And I know that this strategy will show up all of the time. And I can always find another trade to take this same exact type of setup and make this money back that I lost today. All in all, guys, levels, very important, right? That's one thing that we can take away from this video. Having that right level, using your retest off the correct levels will keep you in some positions. But on the other side, guys, another learning lesson from this video: don't get too upset when you get stopped out of these trades. Stick to your strategy no matter what. If you have a strict strategy, if you've been trading with the strategy, stick to it. If it means you get stopped out of some trades, so be it. Take that loss, learn from it, like I'm doing in this video. Maybe do a recap for yourself, or maybe start a YouTube channel and do recaps for other people as well. You never know, some people might be interested in hearing it and learning from you. Recap your trades, see what you could have done better. If it's a loser like we see in today's video, what could have you done better? What levels were incorrect that you had? And in this situation, it's my NASDAQ level that I think threw off the whole trade. So that was my trade today on Tesla. I hope this video is somewhat helpful, learning from what I could have done better with both the NASDAQ levels as well as the Tesla retest. The setup was great. I'm very happy with the setup. This is my break and retest setup. You can see it worked beautifully here on the NASDAQ. I just got a little bit flustered with the wrong level, 11,950. Could have done a little bit better on that side with the technicals. If I would have came in better with that technical level, rather than 950 at 943, I think I would have held this position for a nice win. So another thing to learn from: every day you learn as a trader. This is definitely a learning lesson for me. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Press that like button, subscribe to the channel. I have a massive 50,000 subscriber giveaway coming. It's about a $2,000 value, and it's all in computers and monitors. 3060 graphics cards, some other really nice stuff, so stay tuned for that. This is going to be coming out soon. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Press that like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.